Hey guys, Jay, welcome back to the channel, guys. this is this is definitely one of those discussions I have a lot of fun with because I really enjoy looking at other people's work and the creators that are on this platform and on multiple platforms. It really gives me a sense of a nostalgia, but at the same time excitement when I see action figures getting made, comic books getting made, stories being told. I love that. I love that part of the whole process and what people can bring to our imaginations, to our society. It's really incredible seeing how projects begin and then actually get delivered and get funded. And now having gone through it, I have a brand new appreciation, a totally different outlook on how these things get done. So I really, really, in hindsight, appreciate all the people who have come onto this show and who I've helped to promote and just like told everybody about, whether it was Combat Creatures or Animal Warriors of the Kingdom or Flipor or any of these projects, Hexastack, all these wonderful creators who have tried and succeeded, and in some cases, didn't quite make it. Whether they're big, huge creators like Sharpness Prime, or as small as Mad Hatter Toys. I mean, there's success stories everywhere, and even if it doesn't reach the finish line the way everyone was expecting it, it was the effort, it was the imagination, it was the drive, it was the idea, the creativity of what it is to try and become a creator in any platform, whether it's comics, toys, animation, music, whatever it is. I just love being, having someone on here to talk to about how these things come about. Um, and we're going to talk a lot about that tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk a lot about this because we have a very special guest coming in tonight. Spero Toys, the creators of Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. Brick Something, who is, I guess it's a fight to find out who is the number one AWOC fan between Highly Articulated and Brick Something. But it's it's hard to say because they could probably get in the ring and really duke it out in terms of like who really loves this stuff more. Or is Jason the creator? Is he actually the biggest Animal Warriors of the Kingdom? I don't know. Because can you be more in love with your own creation than somebody else? It's hard to say. It really is. But without further ado, guys, let me bring in the first of our two guests. Hopefully, three guests. We'll see how that works out. But he's been here on the channel multiple times. You know him. You love him. He's such a great character. Guys, please help me welcome my very good friend, um, Brick Something. Brick, what's going on, my
Hey,
friend? How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good, Jay. Good to see you, and thank you for that introduction. I will gladly hand over the title of number one fan. I'm just a big fan. I don't need the title. And yeah, just really into this stuff so much so that I'm like willing to like help out and do what I can because from the start, like all of this whole AWOC talk with me and Highly Articulated started like with this video just because like man I was like how come I don't hear more people talking about Animal Warriors of the Kingdom or the comics and stuff. So and that's how it started, and here we are. So at the end of the day, man, I just want to make sure everybody knows what's going on, and I'm just super flattered to be even engaging with you and then our other guest today, because like you, I love talking to creatives, and so that could be the segue. Dot dot dot.
thank, thank you, Brick. We are going to bring in our next guest, of course, who is one of the reasons why everyone's jumping in today because I'm excited. I'm hugely
Yep.
excited, especially when I took a look at the page today. Actually, I've been monitoring it for a little while, but man, what a crazy week it's been for Spero Toys. Speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and bring in the principal, the man who made this all happen, the creator himself. Jason, what's
Well,
going on, my friend? How you
hello.
doing today? How are you, brother?
Doing
Always good to see you.
fantastic. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Now it's Jason Benvenue.
Bienvenue.
Benvenue. For those of you who do not speak
Yeah.
Francais, It is Jason Benvenue. Now, Jason and I
We
met at PowerCon, and I actually asked Jason about his roots. And Jason, why don't you let everybody, just in case everybody is curious as to where Benvenue comes from? Obviously, as I understand it, it is French. Why don't you give us a little backstory on yourself? Actually, you know what? Why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself, Spero Toys, and of course, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, because that's what everyone's here for. What do we find out from the man himself? What do we find out?
That sounds good to me. So my name's Jason Bienvenue. I'm the managing partner of Spero Toys and the art director for Spero Toys. Animal Warriors of the Kingdom is my baby. Created that. I do the character designs along with Utoma, and I do all the paint masters, the packaging design, and like I said earlier, I'll art direct and give notes and edits and stuff to our fantastic 3D artist and Utoma, who's our 2D artist. My last name is Bienvenue, which is French. Our family originated from Europe and made the long trek across the Atlantic to Canada, and then promptly got kicked all the way down to Louisiana. And we're in the quintessential Cajun country. All the stereotype cliches are in fact true. So believe everything that you see on Swamp People. That is an accurate, what's the word? It's not a biography. It's a, someone help me out here, where they like just film real life. What is it? Documentary. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
It's a documentary. Yeah. It's totally accurate. So, yeah.
Well, it's great to have a former Canadian family.
Yeah.
But you guys are. It's almost like you're sticking to your French roots. I mean, like you moved from Europe to Canada, then you moved all the way down to
right.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And then you decide to go create a comic book about a alien, like a different planet with anthropomorphic characters and the war that ensues. I think there's a lot of things that I'd like to talk about a little bit today, and I think I'll chew on the ear of both Brick and of course Jason, because I think a lot of people are under the misconception that this is kind of like Masters of the Universe, where it's more like but more like a barbarian type world. You know what I mean? But it's not. It's actually, there's actually a lot more. Actually, it's closer to Masters of the Universe because it is more like sword, sorcery, and technologies.
Right. So it's not Conan, it's Masters. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Don't think Conan, think Masters.
Exactly. And I think that's how that goes about. So you know what? Let's talk a little bit about the backstory. So for this segment, I think I'll ask Brick. Brick, what really drew you into Animal Warriors of the Kingdom? Because for me, when I first saw the first couple of images, I was like, this is drawing me in because I'm a sword and sorcery fan, but at the same time, I thought, as many people did mistakenly, that this was more like Conan, like this was a savage land. And of course, because you have primates, you have felines, you have so many different factions, but because they all wear armor and they carry swords instead of blasters, I think that's what kind of threw me off originally. But why don't you tell us your experience and how you got into this whole crazy world of AWOC and why it appeals to you so much?
Yeah, right on. No, absolutely. Well, you can kind of see I'm kind of drawn to animals, period. But I didn't actually realize how much so until I started, kind of building up the new collection and realized, like, man, I'm looking at my shelf and I'm really partial to these like beasties. And so when AWOC came through, and I started seeing it sort of on people's streams and saw it on the Kickstarter, very few streams. I want to say I saw Robo talking about it over on the Whoosh, and I was like, wait, what is this thing? And then I started looking at it, and it definitely, I think, was the animals and the designs, period. I'm totally driven by aesthetics. So I love good design. I love use of color. I love like silhouettes, all of these kinds of things. And so on top of that, my shelf is actually essentially a Masters of the Universe shelf, in that it sort of takes the fantasy barbarian sword and sandal thing mixed with sci-fi. It's Masters of the Universe, it's New Gods, it's what else? John Carter from Mars, like that kind of thing. So when I sort of saw this thing, I was like you. I thought it was more on the fantasy end, but with animals. I was like, cool. And then the more I kind of got into it, and I was like, no, look at those weapons. What's going on? And then I read the comic book, and that's where like you sold me. Not only do you have dope art, dope designs, but I'm reading the story, and there's like this whole world that clearly you're committed to. Like, then I didn't know Jason, but just the creators are committed to building out this new thing, which brings me to my last point, which I think, Jason speaks to a lot. I want to see new things. Like, I'm an old guy, and I've lived a long enough life to remember properties from the 70s, from the 80s and the 90s and so on. And yeah, like many people, I'm definitely nostalgic for a lot of those old things. But I'm excited when new things come around. And that's well before, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. It's like, I grew up as a 70s kid, saw 70s cartoons and entertainment. And then new things came out in the 80s and I got excited about those. And new things came out in the 90s and I got excited about those. So like, I don't understand personally why more people aren't excited about this whole new property that like is set in this cool story. There's anthropomorphic animals. There's a little bit more of a sci-fi background that might, I don't know. It's not really a spoiler. I'll just throw it out there. It's like issue number 1, page 7, that like they have human roots. So, or at least humanoid roots. And so all of that is exciting to me. The combination of the design, the figures, the animals, realizing that it's a whole new thing. So, I'm hoping that more and more people just come check it out, because I think it's something that deserves a lot of attention. And I'm excited about this new Kickstarter that's going to give us 4+ new body types, which means 4+ new types of characters, new creatures. So, and hopefully it all ends in a gigantic elephant warrior on my shelf.
Mhm.
Very, very
Yeah.
exciting, and huge, insight as to how that goes about. No spoilers. I mean, it's interesting though that you say that they're humanoid, but it's actually almost a reverse Darwinism on that kind of idea
Right.
because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
apparently evolved from primates, right? So it's interesting how
Right.
that
Yeah.
all comes about, and the way you guys can figure that out is to buy the comics, which, as I understand it, Jason. I think congratulations, Honor. You have actually signed a deal with Diamond Distributing. Is that not? Is that actually the case? Is that?
Yes, thank you. So we're publishing
Yes.
through Diamond. The issue 1 was out on March 6th. As far as I'm aware, I believe we sold out of both the standard issue and the special edition cover, which is really exciting. We didn't do like a huge run because we wanted to test the waters and kind of see what kind of demand there was, especially for a new IP that is relatively unknown. It was kind of just like a little test run. We'll start actually doing the monthly issues in May. And then we'll just continue on from there with our monthly releases. Wrapping up issue 5 will be the conclusion of the first story arc, and then you can kind of expect a trade paperback. And we're already, well into producing issue 6 right now, which is the introduction to the next story arc. And anyone who's read the comic can probably surmise that I quite enjoyed the Island of Dr. Moreau. I love sci-fi stuff in general. I'm obviously a Masters fan. I remember when watching the first episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and being like, man, that was so cool. And I don't remember if they had a commercial for the toys on the cartoon or not, during the airing of the cartoon, but we went to our local mall that same afternoon, and I saw the Ninja Turtle toys, and it's just one of those kind of core memories where I kind of picked up Raphael. It was like I had to pick which turtle I wanted, and I got Raphael first, and it was just one of those things that that anthropomorphic type characters were just very, very appealing. I obviously love Thundercats, and the thing that I think made me gravitate the most to Masters was the just wonderful sandbox that they've created. So we had kind of talked about the sword and sorcery element, and all of a sudden they're on these like sleds that are like flying in the sky, and like their swords shoot lasers and stuff. And and being an only child, I had to, kind of live in my own little world and kind of create these adventures and whatnot. And so whenever I decided to set up my own IP, I really wanted to have the freedom to just kind of throw in whatever I wanted. So I needed to set up the conditions to make that kind of stuff plausible for both kids and adults. And that's where the introduction of the comic book came in. And, so far, most of the fans we have are action figure fans who just really like the aesthetic. It's packed with articulation. It's got a really solid build. And now that the comic book has, reached comic shops, people are starting to like really kind of read into the mythos and understand where these characters are coming from, which is really exciting. We just got back from Toylanta. It's the first convention that we did that I felt like we had like a really good buzz. Like there was like people that were like talking about it and stuff. And we've done really great at shows in the past, but this is the first show that we've, completely sold the table out, which was really awesome. So I feel like we're on track and really getting a really good momentum. Our real challenge right now is brand awareness. Like I mentioned, everyone kind of takes for granted, Ninja Turtles and Transformers and G.I. Joe, which we all love. But we don't really associate like how much time and branding has been associated with those franchises. So we know we've got a great product and it's fun and exciting. It's just a matter of letting, the masses know about it. And I feel like we're on track to do that. But we've got a little bit of work to do, which is okay because it's been, such a pleasure to introduce the IP to new people, especially when they come to the table and they're like, "What in the heck is this?" So we're really excited about everything. I think we're 2 stretch goals away from unlocking every stretch goal that we had announced at the beginning of the campaign, which is amazing and exciting, considering we've got. Let me see how many days we've got left. Does anyone know? We've got 20 days left. So we've got essentially a paycheck and then your tax return to kind of unlock some additional goodies. Today we unlocked Jessa, which was fantastic. That's our feline army builder. And we also unlocked the additional head packs for the female figures. So now every female figure will be packed in with an additional alternate head. And so she's got her alternate head already in there. We're actually sculpting the heads right now. It's one of those things during the Kickstarter, everything is we're kind of going at a breakneck speed behind the scenes and trying to catch up with, our unlocks, which is a good position to be in. We're very happy about that. I do have the images of the lizards ready to go. We'll probably edit those into a update tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have that, to show off tomorrow and really show that essentially all the lizards can be created to make army builders. So there's really no reason not to get more than one of any particular lizard at this point. And the brawlers will be slightly different. Their head packs will be a combination of like different expressions like grimaces and growls. And then one of them will have like an alternate head look, like if you want to have 2 different dogs. So, kind of similar dogs. Yeah, what's up, Adam? There's a comic book. We talked about it. Someone's just getting home. Yeah, so, it looks like we're right on track. I think we're about 15K away from unlocking our next stretch goal.
Yeah, that's great.
That
you said, I was just going to say, one of Glum on the brand awareness thing is key, right? It's like, and that again, that goes back to, I think, why Adam hangs out in chats and asks leading questions like that, or that's a question that we often hear, both of us hear, because it's like, no, there is a comic and you really need to know about it and you should talk to your comic book shop. And so, I think ultimately that's why I'm excited about folks like this whole week of doing streams and the next couple of weeks of doing streams and just getting it out there is super important. Even, yes, there's a Kickstarter, but just making sure that anyone who's interested in toys, anyone who's marginally geeky is aware that this thing called Animal Warriors of the Kingdom exists. So
very exciting, extremely exciting. We're gonna get into the actual nitty gritty of the campaign and what's involved. But first and foremost, I was not aware of the comic book originally.
Mhm.
I just saw these guys and was like, what the heck is
Yeah.
that? Right? I mean, first of all, the value for money, right, with what
Mhm.
you get in these packages is just outstanding. As an independent company, what you guys are offering, in my opinion, is just absolute value for money. Like, like the sculpts alone. I mean, look at that head
Yes.
sculpt. Like, seriously.
Yes.
Um, if you
Mhm.
don't mind me asking, who's your head sculptor? Like, was he part of the team originally, or did
Um,
you have to do it alone?
so both Arlen, who's a Canadian, fellow Canadian. Uh, I can't pronounce Arlen's last name. I wish I could. But Arlen and Dan are our two lead sculptors. We just added an additional lead. So now we've got three sculptors. Carter's our new addition, and then we've got some pickup sculptors that'll go and kind of pick up stuff that the other guys can't get to, or like we've got like a lot of accessories and stuff being sculpted and a little odds and ends and stuff. That way the guys can kind of concentrate on like the bigger parts of the figures.
Excellent, and it's always
Mhm.
great. It's always great to hear the Canadians are involved. I mean, like former Canadians who went down to the United States, and of course, current Canadians who are actually helping with this incredible line. I mean, look at these guys. Look at what these guys are able to create. I mean, holy crap! This is just absolutely crazy. Um, I'm just beside myself with the creativity that's being presented here. Um,
Thank you.
just to reiterate really quickly, I know you said that you've been inspired by multiple different properties, different IPs, Master Universe,
Hmm.
Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I noticed that multiple properties in there, of course, have that anthropomorphic flavor. You know what I mean? Was that
Right,
originally
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, was that originally the whole concept of this line that they were going to be? And how did that come about? How did you land on the idea of these Muppets, man? Like seriously, how do you land
Muppets.
on the whole Animal Warriors of the Kingdom concept? What did you just wake up one day
So
and just
I was doing graphic design at the time that I came up with the idea, and I was doing something for like a drive-through zoo, if I remember correctly. It was a zoo of some sort. And when I finished that up, I was cleaning off my desk, and I just had a bunch of sketches and doodles of just animals. And there was one little lemur that I thought was really cool, and I was like, it would be fun to kind of do my version of the hero tale through anthropomorphic characters, And it's hard to say, but I think Kung Fu Panda might have been out around that time too. So
Mhm.
uh, those two things kind of like just sparked something that created this creative itch that I just had to kind of scratch. And the easiest way to do that was through a comic book that didn't really take any resources. It just took my time and drawing. So I kind of went to work on creating that world from there. And while I was creating it, I kept thinking about stuff like, I'm gonna have to redraw this character a whole bunch. So how do I want it to look? Do I want to make it like overly fancy, or stuff like that? And then I started thinking, well, you know what? What if I designed them to where they would make appealing toys? And so after the comic book was done, then I started really kind of shifting my focus to what I really wanted, was to make toys, which I've always been attracted to toys. There was a little 2-year period in high school where I was trying not to be into toys and collecting toys, but just to kind of show how old I am, the McFarlane Metal Gear figures came out, and I was just like, you know what? I'm nerdy. I don't care. I'm getting toys. I'm collecting toys, and it just kind of all just took off from there. I just kind of fell, feet first into loving action figures and toys in general, and I think it was 2011 that I really started creating the comic book. We did the 3 3/4 inch figures in 2017. And when everything shut down for COVID in 2020, I decided, what's up, Derek? I decided that I would go ahead and try the 6-inch scale. Arlen and I were friends already, and we were all kind of locked in for COVID, and I decided, let me reach out to Arlen, and I actually met Utoma. Like, I remember watching Tiger King, and I think I saw some of his art or something on Instagram, and I was like, this guy's got some cool art. And we kind of hit it off, and we started talking. We were like, man, we're like so on the same wavelength with these ideas, And so we actually got to work on doing the comics and the 6-inch figures at the same time. And I still have the day job and everything. And I just, it's funny because, like, we prepared for like 6 months before we launched the Kickstarter. And I just felt like I was just hanging on by the skin of my teeth. Thanks, Derek. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing the Paint Masters. I remember repainting like the Metal Gear figures and some of the Spawn figures. I just loved doing that stuff. And I was in college at the time when I was doing that. And I thought to myself, man, I wish I could do this like for a living, So here we are 20 years later. But yeah, while we were in COVID, we were just kind of sitting around, and I binge watched Tiger King or whatever, and I was like, okay, now I gotta like try to figure out some sort of way to turn my side hustle into my main hustle, my main gig. So the Kickstarter launched. There was a lot of lockdown still going on. I believe we launched in 2021, and it was just a very surreal experience. I know, Mega J, I know you can relate to that right now, watching your Kickstarter just kind of kick all kind of ass. It's very exciting. I'm super proud of y'all and super excited for you guys. I have an idea of what you're experiencing right now, and it's very cool and exciting. So just watching the Kickstarter go wild. That our first 6-inch scale was surreal to say the least. I remember kind of like at the very end, just like kind of pinching myself and be like, oh my God, was that real? Did that really just happen? That was kind of crazy. So yeah, and then we were kind of off to the races after that.
You know what? I'll say it this way: you'll never know until you try, right? Like, I think that's really the
right,
biggest,
exactly,
the biggest thing. But I will say this: I will caution anybody who wants to try something like this. Know what the heck you're doing, and I say that intrepidly. The reason I say that is because, just like what Jason said, it took him 6 months to actually launch his project. It took us a year and a half for us to actually, actually dive in, because we weren't ready. We were not ready. We had no idea what the hell we were doing, and if it wasn't for the pieces falling into place the way they were supposed to, a good sculptor, a partner who can actually get the work done in China. Someone who knows how to use the Kickstarter model, because we had no idea what the heck we were doing. And of course, somebody to help push the product. Those pieces need to be there, right? And Jason, I think you can obviously relate. If those pieces are not in the right place and you're not pushing the way you're supposed to be pushing, and just basically keeping everybody engaged, this is a crazy game to play, right? And you will lose.
It's definitely a marathon.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. Go ahead, Jim.
I've had a lot of creators kind of reach out to me, and I tell them, give yourself 6 months to prepare the Kickstarter, and a lot of times they'll balk at that, and they're like, oh, well, I want to do it in like a month and a half, and it's like, you are going to battle, sir or ma'am, and you need to be able to plan out everything, and you should have like your updates kind of canned and ready to go, so that while everything that's crazy that's going on, you're able to, like, just kind of fill in a little bit of information and push that out there. Backers are going to ask stuff that you didn't think about, and you have to be able to think on your toes. And, your goal is your mountain. So like, you're going to have, certain people are going to be like, have like really loud voices and trying to like steer you away from your mountain. So you've got to like really kind of have a focus and a very tight vision of what you want. You need to have like your factory lined up with quotes and such. And you need to have, stretch goal stuff sort of prepared. We did our best, but like I said, we all know we're right here where we've unlocked all these stretch goals, and now we're kind of scrambling for like 2D art to show while we do the 3D sculpts and stuff. So try to, it's like preparing for war. Like, you think you're ready, and then all of a sudden you're in the trenches, and there's stuff coming at you that you just can't anticipate. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that you need to be ready for it as much as you can, and hopefully you'll, as a creator, you'll have done your research and everything. Yeah, Derek said like Sunday was bare bones. Our table looked kind of sad. Everything was kind of like picked clean.
Yeah,
So,
let's take
one thing I will say.
No, go ahead.
I will say. Let me say this real quick. Derek and I were watching Trading Places. I think we watched it Saturday night, and there's the scene where what's it called? Valentine and Randolph are they're like selling stuff after the floor is closed, and like we were still selling we still had a couple of customers after like the floor closed. So yeah, we were like, wow, this is so cool. I feel like all this hard work is like finally really, really paying off, where we've got people at the table in the booth and are excited and just kind of clamoring to get their hands on everything. So
that's such an exciting feeling, especially being on the show floor for the weekend and really, taking it all in.
Right.
I want to take a minute and just like go through a couple of questions and comments that have been flying through the chat. Thank you guys for being here tonight. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for coming and saying hi to the guests. Mythic Dolphin, Brick Something. I am Tiffany on KS. Do we get a new unlocked head soon?
Tiffany is awesome. Thank you.
Tiffany is amazing.
Yeah, I'll answer it. So we're doing just behind the scenes stuff. I asked Dan to start working on Raving the bird. He wanted to work on the female heads. We were probably gonna have female heads ready to show, but I made the decision to ask him to work on the bird first. So that means that we're essentially gonna have 2D images of the brawler heads first, and Arlen's gonna be sculpting that. And then once Dan wraps up the Raving bird, then he'll jump over and do the alternate heads for the two females. So that's the plan right now. And then we'll probably reproduce that same model with the 2D heads of the assassins, which is Boone, Kanji, and the Horde assassin.
Unmute myself.
You're muted. Yeah.
Then the Dolphin follows up with saying, "Is Brutox brawler scale or bigger like Hippo Rhino scale?" Everything's being directed to Brick.
Yeah. So so Brutox is the brawler scale. He's the same scale. He's the same buck as Hannibal and Grimes and Kali Prime.
And for those who may not have been paying close attention, that's a water buffalo. Okay. So
African water buffalo, yeah.
In the Philippines,
sure, it's not Filipino water buffalo.
In the Philippines, we call it
Filipino water buffalo.
Thank you. Perfect. Good job. Carabao.
Who knows?
Just kidding.
We call it caribou in the Philippines.
Yeah,
don't ask why. That's just the way we call it. Tony Cartoonish, yo, Jason, what's going on?
What's up, Tony?
Endless Fables, hey, Jason. Toy Connections,
up,
Viva Canada. Yes, of course, Viva Canada.
We're talking about getting our passports because we want to do a show in Canada. I don't remember when it was. We started. Adam and I were talking about it. I do have a passport, but I am also American, which means that it's like 20 years expired. So Derek and I need to get passports. Yeah, we'll get passports. I'll just like show them my old like 20-year-old passport, and they're like,
yeah, you can get it renewed. You can get it renewed. It's quite easy. It's not easy, but you just gotta go to your embassy. You just gotta go to your embassy in your state, and they can help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on that note, Jason, I have some ideas for you if you want to come up here. So
yeah, dude, we should absolutely. Like, what I want to do is I want to come up for like maybe 2 weeks, but I'm kind of dead set on retaking my passport because I want to take it like shirtless with overalls on, and like maybe like a straw hat.
Make the best impression when you enter the country. Perfect. Right? I love it.
You're only going to get this much anyway. So, I mean.
Oh, no, that's a bummer. Oh, well.
Mr. Wonderful, yay! What's going on there? It's good to see you. Mega J, Brick, Highly, and Spiro all in one place. Big fanboy epic, all in one day. Great to see you, brother. Always good to see Mr. Wonderful in the chat.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Travis.
We all met at well, we didn't meet Brick, but all three of us met at PowerCon. It was
PowerCon?
a great day, and of course hashtag no sleep till Mamba. There you go, brother.
Yes, that's actually a pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
Somebody write that down quick.
Oh, I did.
King Browser at Brick at the Mythic Dolphin. Brutox is confirmed to be a brawler scale. I do note that he has different feet though, so I'm not sure if he will be released in Wave 1. Probably in later waves, I imagine.
No, he'll be wave 1. He'll be wave. Well, actually, you know what? I have to talk to Adam about that. I think it is going to be a follow-up wave. If we try to start sneaking too many SKUs in the production, of each wave, it'll slow things down. So they're correct. It will be tooled at the same time, but it'll be part of wave. What is it? Let's see. 5, 6. It'll be part of wave 7 of the Kickstarter. So, we're going to get the brawlers and the lizards in wave 5, which will be Christmas 2024, and then we'll get the rogues and the heroines in the summer of 25, and then we'll probably do like the ox and the birds and the elephants and everything. That'll be it'll probably be end of 2025 or early 26. So
excellent. We're going to speed through a few of these ones here. Yeah. They're just little short ones. Tony Cartoonish, Thunder! Yes, a wonderful barbarian, as always.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron the Toy Hanser. What up, guys? I got to have my first look at Toylanta this line. Looks
cool,
amazing.
Man.
Yeah,
Thank you so
really
much.
Awesome.
I love hearing that. That's great.
Tony Cartoonish says, not just the design, but the perfect shape, language, and the colors in AWOC.
Exactly.
The color choices are alone are so good. That's excellent.
Thank you.
So I don't know that Tony's still here, but 100%. That's what I'm talking about. It's the whole
Derek.
shebang, man.
Yeah, Derek's always.
Whenever people ask me about like the painting and stuff, and the mechanics of it are pretty straightforward. But whenever I do paint stuff, I tend to think about paint combinations in my head for like maybe 2 days before I ever get to the computer or the actual physical paints. Like I'll kind of rotate the character around and I'm like, okay, I want to do this, and that, and then I'll swap out. Like what I usually do is I'll pick the main color in my head, and then I'll start adding accents, and then I'll swap them out, and really think about it. I almost kind of like, I know it sounds silly, but I almost kind of meditate on it before I ever get in front of Photoshop or messing around with paint and stuff. And the main reason for that is because I don't like to repaint stuff, especially if it's like got like light colors mixing with dark colors. One of the alternate heads, the new lizard head, I was really set. I mean, Corvus has that like kind of blue teal skin, and I was really set on doing the alternate head in like a yellow gold. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I know this is the right color to use. It's what needs to be done. But anyone that paints a lot knows that yellow and like light oranges are just a real pain in the butt. It's like, several hours of very thin layers to add. I'm like, do I really need it to be yellowy orange? And it looks fantastic. We're going to, I've seen the photos and everything. We'll upload it, probably tomorrow if we can edit it all together. But it's just one of those things where I'm in love with color. And, I jokingly say that I learned from the master, Tom Whalen, who is Strong Stuff. He does tons of stuff for Nickelodeon. He's doing Godzilla posters right now. You've probably seen his work and not known it, but I took a lot of inspiration as far as like being kind of bold with my colors on the figures from Tom. He's got like just a gorgeous palette. And, I used him as like a jumping off point to find my own color voice, so to speak.
Yeah, colors are not easy, man. Colors are ridiculously difficult to master.
Yeah, it can be very challenging.
100%. The Collective Brothers.
Someone's Mythic Dolphin said they did Epic All In. That's awesome. Oh, twice. Is that right? Am I seeing that right? My eyes are still kind of fuzzy.
Well,
Yeah,
the
that
collecting
epic all in, the epic all in value, we like just really kind of packed in the value on both the epic and the standard epic. Wait, I'm sorry, the epic all in and the all in. The price points on those are fantastic. You're getting kind of close to like retailer discount, like wholesale discount as a thank you for backing during the Kickstarter phase.
Yeah, the Collecting Brothers definitely echo that sentiment. Epic all in is the way to go, which is absolutely crazy. We got a lot of people. Thank you guys for being here. Holy crap, the chat is just exploding. You guys are awesome.
Let's
Rick
get some
Jones.
all ins, buddies. Let's
Rick
get
Jones
some
wants
all ins in there.
Rick Jones wants
So Rick
elephants.
Jones, I think Rick Jones wants the elephant. So speaking of the epic all in, if you do the epic all in, you're gonna get the elephants, the rhinos, you're gonna get everything. It's the kind of thing that, like, when it shows up and your wife's like, what the heck is this? You're gonna say something like, I thought you wanted me to be happy,
To be clear, yeah, if you go into the epic all in, we're talking $650 for everything that was originally in the Kickstarter that was offered, including the spectral pail, as well as anything else that gets unlocked. So if we do hit that magical, what was it, 490? I think, yeah, that's the Mamba that we're talking about. No Sleep Till Mamba.
Let's scroll up.
Shout out to the BCs.
Let me look. Let me
410,
see what it is.
410,000.
410. We can do that.
Yeah, 410.
We're on track. We're on track to do that. We got 20 days, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, and we are currently, if you didn't catch that, at 205,000. That's halfway to where we need to be. 20 more days.
Now, most
Tell a friend.
Most campaigns are like 30 days. We decided to do 47. I know it's a little unusual, but we wanted to pack in several paydays so that people can, save up and get what they want. And then we're going to be ending 2 days after everyone gets their tax return. Oh, hey, Tiffany, I didn't realize that was your handle. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. But yeah, we want everyone to get what they want to get and not be stressed out about it.
Yeah.
So we did the 3 paydays. I believe it's 3 paydays and then your tax returns.
I do want to say huge congratulations to you guys. What a campaign so far. $205,192 on 562 backers. Thank you, everybody who backed this project. I remember I was covering this on the I believe it was the first week that it went live. I was talking about it with Brick, and I was just like beside myself. I at the time it was just hovering around, I think it was 70 or 80,000. And I was literally telling everybody that, going through what we've gone through with Flipboard, I was like, how is this even possible? How can you do four new characters on 99,000? Like, knowing from experience, that is impossible. Okay, let me tell everybody out there, if you think that this is a lot of money, it is not a lot of money. Okay, for everything that you get here, guys,
Sure.
2 brawlers, right? The 4 regular sized characters, 2 brand new bucks, actually multiple bucks all over the place. This is impossible. All right, what the value you're getting out of all of this? I'm not just like playing up to the crowd here, guys. I want that to be freaking clear. One thing I really want, because everyone's gonna say that, oh, Jay, you had them on there, your guests or whatever. No, I am doing this now. I am actually doing this freaking thing, and I know exactly how much it costs to do one figure. We're trying to do one standard buck, and it's gonna cost us a mint. I cannot believe that Jason and Spero Toys, is, and I have to believe, and Jason, I'm just talking about out of my ass here, but I have to believe that an incredible amount of investment has been put behind the scenes to get this done, because there is absolutely no freaking way, everybody, that this can be done on $99,000. It's impossible.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we've got the luxury of being several waves into the IP, so we can set aside certain funds to go into producing these sculpts and tooling and whatnot. And I made the decision to set the funding goal low because, in our case, a lot of the appeal of the Kickstarter is the brand awareness, the the fact that it's going to be in the news cycle for however long, the toy news cycle for however long the Kickstarter goes. And it also allows us to find out what figures are really popular so that we can kind of pump in all those numbers into the back end and let the factory know, like, oh, hey, that figure that you've got on the screen right now is a little bit more popular than maybe the red one or whatever. I'm just making an example. So that way we actually know which figures are more popular just kind of right out the gate instead of, guessing or having our own bias. These funds are amazing. This is a huge deal to us, and it's going to really help go a long way. But, we've put a ton into, producing the tooling molds and, doing the sculpts and all that stuff. So, what we raise in the Kickstarter is essentially paying for the production run, not necessarily the tooling itself. We've got these later stretch goals that will go towards some of the tooling for like the bigger figures, like the hippos and the elephants, maybe a little bit of the birds as well. But yeah, I mean, we don't take any of it for granted. We're super excited about, what we've raised so far. And we feel great about, the next, the last half of the Kickstarter, essentially. We're in the last half of it now. So we're excited to see what else we get funded. And, we're ready to kind of move forward into production as soon as this Kickstarter wraps up.
I'm seriously, truthfully, again, I'm not just buttering anybody up, guys. You really have no concept, honestly. If you think you know what toys, how much it costs to make a toy, you really have no idea. Okay, and the fact that there are
Right.
like brand new bucks being
Yeah.
tossed around here, that just blows my mind
Yeah.
completely. And I want to give a
We-
huge thanks to Spero and Jason for making something like this happen. Like this is
Oh,
not
it's
something
it's
that
our
you pick up
pleasure.
and go. This is all from
We're
from
living the
ground up.
dream, baby.
Yeah. This
You
is
know,
absolutely
someone walked up to the table this weekend and they were like, how much are these figures? And, I said, this is 35. And they were kind of shocked, and they said, man, I thought it was going to be $20. And I said, well, it's not 2010 anymore. A regular mass production Hasbro figure is $25 now, so we're doing way smaller runs than that, which translates to more cost to us. And then we have to pass it down to the customer. But I feel like we're putting out fantastic products, and whenever people get a little bit more knowledgeable about what goes into the indie lines and the production costs, they feel like, oh, hey, that's a good deal. It's pretty standard for indie lines. And look at those weapon accessories. You can use that on pretty much any sword and sorcery line you can think of out there. Like I know I'm planning on mixing this stuff with Masters, Savage Crucible, Mythic Legions, Fire and Ice, stuff like that. So that's kind of the stuff that we have in mind. Of course, this is meant for our line, but we want this to be these weapons and stuff to be stuff that you want to kind of mix and match and put into your collection. Especially since I kind of mix and match my stuff too. I've got like my shelves have, AWOC and Ninja Turtles and Thundercats and everything just kind of all hanging out together.
Yeah, people were asking in the chat earlier, does it work with
Star.
Masterverse? It's not just the weapons, right? But they're in the
armor.
past campaign, the armor you can throw on them too. And I've seen you do that at PowerCon, like really showing that piece of it because it's great stuff. So
I totally forgot we did that.
That all comes from Master Universe and all these other toy lines that you could remove their armor, you can remove their straps, and swap their weapons with them. And it really is a testament to this line that you're creating weapons which can be utilized on multiple levels. You know what I mean? Like this would work with any sort of this would work with G.I. Joe. This would work with like I said, Master Universe. This would work with Masterverse. This would work with so many different action figure lines right now. Some of the new lines like the what's it called, the Gladiator line that we were talking about the other day.
Oh yeah, the combatants.
Right?
They're called combatants. Is that what? Yeah, those are so cool.
Yeah, Zezres.
Yeah, those are really, really cool.
Star says the AWOCs are killing it. I never thought they'd be this good, and I've never been so glad to be so wrong. Thank you, Star. Thank
you so much.
That is excellent. Oz Dramatis Toys in the house. What's going on, Oz? Good to see the Oz himself. There he is. Oz, if you want to join us, feel free to jump in. Always good to see you. Carol's in the house. Always good to see Carol. the dynamic duo here themselves. Let's see if are there any actual questions there. A Mythic Dolphin always. Jason, I'm Tiffany on K. Oh yeah, there he is. Tiffany's a
Tiffany's
gem.
awesome.
Tiffany's a gem.
MVP
100%.
baby.
Exactly.
Hardcore
Allison
AWOC.
Troy's in the house. What's going on, Allison? Always good to see Allison.
What's up?
Sculpt Viper Tommy is in the house. Great to see you, Tommy. Always great
Thank
to
you
see.
so much.
One of the Mondo sculptors in the chat. Always great to see,
Oh
Tommy.
man,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome, dude. Thank you so much.
Really good to see you.
Yeah,
Thank you for-
both the Lion and the Collie Prime, they both have longer hair, and we've got questions about the articulation for those heads. Essentially, the hair is almost like a scarf that's kind of just sitting on the shoulders. So the head and most of the hair right here is a separate part, so it won't affect the movement of the head at all. It'll be able to look. You can really turn it 360 if you want. It'll be able to look up and down, no problem. So don't worry about the articulation being affected by that longer hair on those two figures.
Yeah, I wish I could see what you're seeing. What time code was that? That way I can catch up to where you are.
Well, he just mentioned that he had back the Lion, and it just popped into my head.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I want. There's just so many people. First of all, thanks you guys.
That's
Thank
awesome,
you again
man.
for
It's
being
great.
here. Always good to see Steve Platt. The prices are more than fair. Yes, 100%. When I first saw this line on the shelves, I was like, and I said it earlier, the value for money here is just ridiculous, right? Somebody was saying like, I was expecting them to be $20. What the heck are you talking about? Like a Masterverse, an Origins figure is $22 now. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be mad at it if you lowered the price.
Right, that'd be great.
No,
yeah, that'd be awesome. If we could do it, we totally would.
Again, we've talked a lot about design and all, but just the way these things move too, like you really got to get these.
You can hear the ratchet over the thing.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Like having this crunch here, as well as the twist and just the butterfly. Like these things are ridiculously fun. So they're like they hit.
Is that something your 3D designer did? Like, is he the one who was doing the overall sculpting, or is that something that the factory helped to facilitate? Because these are pretty damn good.
All of our sculptors are working on Hasbro IPs like G.I. Joe, Star Wars Black Series, Power Rangers. Did I mention G.I. Joe Classified?
See, I love that.
So we've got a fantastic team that really understands articulation. Our project manager's former Hasbro as well. So it was very much a team effort. I don't want to take credit for that. I had like a vision as far as like the articulation goes. I think I might have made a couple of notes and stuff on certain things, but any kind of real problem that we ran into, our project manager being a fantastic sculptor and sculpted G.I. Joe figures that you probably think are among the best figures, we're able to solve those problems. Man, yeah. I saw. Wait, hold on. Dan said something.
So I don't want to spoil anything, but
yeah, Dan said they do all the articulation and then the factory fine tunes it. So essentially, what they do is they get it to where it's about 95% ready to go, and then they'll go, and kind of dial in the last little bit of it. I don't know why my camera got blurry all of a sudden. That was weird.
Those spirits, man.
But yeah, like so Dan will send like just a cylinder for where the hands plug in and where the feet and stuff plug in, and then the factory will actually add that little kind of mushroom joint or the bump. That's essentially what he's saying. But yeah, they sculpt the articulation into the figures as they're doing the details or as they're building it out. Dan, if I'm saying it wrong, let me know.
Jace says you guys are producing the best quality feeling figures out there. Excellent materials, fantastic joint quality, great detail, and an amazing original IP.
Thank you so much. Again, I have to give credit to our project manager, Dave. He's got such an extensive knowledge on plastic, and sometimes I would send certain parts of action figures that I wanted to kind of achieve, especially, look at that. See that? I distinctly remember sending Dave the Mandalorian cape saying, I want Kali's cape to kind of feel like this. That's the only thing that I really remember requesting as far as like plastic wise. But I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better quality product as far as like our first run at 6-inch figures. I'm very, very proud of what we achieved. And now that we've got the formula dialed in, we're just going to keep going.
Jace says that he keeps upping his pledge every single week.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. You work too hard not to
what-
treat yourself. What are we working so hard for if we're not going to get stuff and enjoy ourselves? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Come on now.
I totally agree. Look who it is. Renders Effects.
What's up,
3D
man?
3D sculptor in his own right.
You're not sculpting Flipboard right now?
That's
I
right.
thought you were going to make it out to the show this weekend. You were busy, huh?
Yeah, actually, he decided, just a little bit insight here. He decided to work on Flipboard. Can you freaking believe that? What
You
a
know what?
champ! What a freaking
I
champ!
think you made the right choice. That way you're not stressing out, trying to meet deadlines. You're in the middle of a Kickstarter, sir.
You know what? We would not be where we are right now without Renders. Huge
That's
shout out
awesome,
to
man.
Renders.
Yeah,
Guys, if you
we
haven't
met him.
already, definitely subscribe to Renders Effects on Instagram. Amazing creator. You guys literally have no idea. I mean, after all,
Yeah,
this is coming.
What, dude? What?
courtesy
There
of-
it
Dude, that is
is.
so cool. What?
Yeah,
That's
it was just
awesome. Make sure you guys back this Kickstarter. They got 4 days left. Back the Flipboard Kickstarter. Do it now. You can open up a
That's not-
different tab.
That's funny as heck. We're supposed to be doing. Let's keep on target. Let's stay on target. We're supposed to be Spero here. But thank you, Jason. Appreciate
We're
that.
sharing we're spreading the love, man.
I love it. RoboGeek 1973. If the final numbers don't quite get to 410 when the Kickstarter ends, but it makes that high during the backer kit, will the elephant still be able to unlock still?
Most likely, I don't want to like set expectations where people can think they're gonna just kind of like skate by, and we're gonna be like, if we're like 20K short by the time the Kickstarter ends, I don't want to guarantee that we're gonna raise that in the backer kit, but we raised close to 100K in the first backer kit for the last series. So, if we raise the funds, then we will do it and we will offer it. So let's try to get as close to goal, as close to unlocking that bad boy as possible. That way there's no questions about it at all. How's that sound?
Incredible.
I'm
Jason,
looking at time real quick, but so let's just make sure there's a couple great questions in there that we should hit up before Jason has to
All right, tell me the time
do the
code.
tour. He's doing the tour. Let's give 5 more minutes for Jason, and then we can finish up if we
Sure.
need to. But yeah.
Tell me the time codes that you want me to go to, and I'll throw them up on the screen. Any particular questions you guys want to answer?
Yeah, you want to jump real quick all the way to the end at, where was it? Oh, shoot. Sorry, I just saw it. Oh, awkward silence. Yay. It was basically, are you going to be at Legion's Con this year?
All right, well, there we go.
Yes, we will be at Legion's Con. We love Legion's Con. We will absolutely be there. I talked to the boys at where were we at? Toyland. Looking forward to it, and you can bank on it.
And then beyond that, there weren't a ton of questions, but yeah, I think that was it. Just some comments that your camera is blurry and that they think you're a Sasquatch.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know what happened. It just got it just got blurry all of a sudden.
I got some questions here that I actually put up.
Oh, go
So where are we here? Oh gosh, literally I had them. Oh, here we go. Meredith Robinson says, Robertson says, do you have any ideas for kangaroo characters?
We already have one designed.
Oh, there you go. There, that was quick. King Bowser says, will all of the birds have wing arms like the raven?
Yeah, all of the wings are removable. Oh my goodness, I just got a Charlie horse. Sorry about that. That's kind of crazy. I got one in both legs. Holy cow, what the heck is going on? Yes,
drink some water. Drink some
all
water.
the wings are removable. If you have the classic Falcon figure, the comic version of Falcon, it's going to be something similar to that. Sorry about that. Holy cow, what the heck was that? It'll be something similar to that. If you've got the birds from the Power Rangers, like the bird army builders, think along those lines. Right, Dan? Back me up, Dan.
Excellent.
Yeah, you'll be able to remove it if you want. If you don't want the wings on it, you don't have to have them on there.
Aaron the Toy Hamster says, "Be sure to give a like, guys. This line looked incredible at Toylanta." Thank you so much, Aaron. You're
Thank you.
amazing.
Toylanta was such a great show. We cannot wait to be back at that show.
Let's see here. We do have another one. Oh, here we. Any human characters entering the AWOC story one day?
We have males and females already designed.
I was gonna say
Sweet.
2. Wow. Okay, you're just dropping it all. All right, there you go.
We got the toys already designed.
That is
Spoiler
exciting.
alert.
Exciting. Derek actually followed that up with, I mean, if you're reading the comic, you should know the answer.
This is true.
So there's a hot tip, everybody. Read the comic. Go pick it up right now at your local comic book store.
So the comic's
Absolutely.
full of Easter eggs. If you're curious what kind of figures and toys we've got planned out, look at the background characters. We've got a lot of Easter eggs kind of sprinkled throughout every issue.
That is excellent. All right, so I think we are getting close to the limit that Jason can actually spend with us, but I wanted to give you guys a huge thank you once again for joining us. We'll take a few more questions before we start winding down, everybody.
And I can hang out. I can still hang out for a little bit to kind of walk through anything in the Kickstarter. But yeah, Jason is doing a sort of a tour, as folks know. Like we're trying to gather the tribe, and like we said, let people know. And he is also booked over on the Toy Daddies after this. But like, stay tuned to that. We kind of put out the whole week of links, and there's going to be more next week and the week after. So lots of places to catch Jason. And then myself and Adam are sort of like tag team support, tag team reining in, tag team making sure he gets on the stream and all that fun stuff. And can't do anything about the Sasquatch internet though. So
yeah, that's my fault.
Dan actually is contradicting everybody. I can't guarantee that they'll be removable. Laughing my ass off. I'll have to wait till the factory says, but that is the way we're intending to engineer them on ML Falcon. So there we go. Cautionary, but the intention is to have them removable, which would be awesome.
Exactly.
Which would be very awesome. My buddy's Customs. Yes, I use 4-car color shift orange paint for a lot of my figures. I have to do like 5 to 7 layers to have a full shine. That's insane.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's facts. Insane. If you mix a little bit of white in there, it'll kind of cut down the layers, but you still, it's just how it is. You don't want to put too much to where it affects the shades. So I do want to say that if you do decide to back the Kickstarter, you will not be charged until April 17th. So there's no reason not to back now. Get the items that you want. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much. There's no reason not to back now and pick out the stuff that you want. You don't have to worry about getting billed until the 17th, which is 2 days after payday. Make sure you back the Flip Or Kickstarter. They've got 4 days left. So please support that Kickstarter and get all the figures that you want out of there. And thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to us geek out about toys, and on to the next stretch goal. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna hop off and head over to the next stream. Can't wait to the next time, and I'll be working on my passport so we can come and raise hell in Canada.
I'm looking forward to it, Jason. Guys, thank you so much, my friend. Have a wonderful stream in the next one. We will see you there.
Thank you.
Spread the word. Gather the tribe.
Bye.
Salut, mon ami.
Mamba.
All right, so then it was just 2 flips.
This is a flip party. And he's gonna go join another flip over there with no chewing and the other folks, which is dope. Yeah, and so
it's a flip party.
I wish Jason had more time here, like just in terms of scheduling things. But yeah, I can hang out for a little bit more to talk through. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that was revealed, and that's my big concern is that I think people paid attention to the campaign. And as stuff got unlocked.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, some of that stuff might have been sneaked by.
I think it just jumped a little bit. 205,229, freaking huge. 562 backers. This is freaking incredible, guys. The campaign ends on April 16th, or when was April 16th. And you guys have 20 days to go. Huge amount of time to be able to get this all the way up to 400,000. I think that would be absolutely dope. And of course, once it hits 415,000, That will be the upper echelon of what they need to get this completed. So, guys, please head over to Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Primal Series 2 on Kickstarter. I will have I don't know if I will have a link in the description below, so you guys can just click on there and head over there right away. Actually, if it's not already there, I'm pretty sure it is. But guys, thank you again for being here. But let's talk a little bit more about what was actually unlocked. And honestly, I do want to say this though, Brick. Huge congratulations to you, because you had a huge jump. You guys had a huge jump over the week. It was like almost like 20,000 or something like that. It was huge, a massive jump. So
Yeah.
thanks to you and
Yeah,
everybody.
I know it's real confusing. Again, I'm just a fan. I'm not like gonna claim any ownership over that. I'm not Spero, so I just want to. I'm supportive. I want to help, and they're great guys. But yeah, it was actually just yesterday, Jay. Like it was 177. I
That's what
want
I'm
to
saying,
say.
like 30,000,
Yeah,
right? 30,000. It was
yeah.
crazy, right?
And so I think that's a good point. So I'll share this. I'm pretty sure this is fair to, yeah, it's fine to share. One thing that's out there, and people should know this, is that you can actually pre-order these over on BBTS as well. If for some reason you didn't want to, do this directly with Spero. And I want everybody to know and hear that when you order something at Big Bad Toy Store, it absolutely adds to this campaign and pushes it up. So what people saw yesterday was a jump, as some of these retailers, I think it's BBTS and eCollectibles up in Canada, they're going to be reporting their stuff periodically. So you will see some of those really big jumps, as well as additional backers in there. So if anyone was concerned or curious about backing Big Bad, and if that contributes to getting us closer to that 410,000 magic Mamba dollar amount, do what you need to do if that makes the most sense for you to go to Big Bad, and it ultimately helps this. And if you're in Canada, same deal. So I want folks to know and hear that piece. And yeah, it was a huge jump. And I know that sort of following kind of the chatter around it, there were some people expressing like, oh, are we hitting this plateau? I was just sort of looking at it. I think people were saying, is it stalled? And then boom. So I want to point that out for, just one, I want people to don't worry if you're ordering at Big Bad Toy Store or some of these other or e-collectibles. And then two, sometimes there's weird, like, at least here in the United States, I'll just say that at this moment, there's a lot of weird conspiracy theories coming out of all sorts of places. And so sometimes when people see that, I see that all the time on HasLab. People are like, is that legit? Did they just jump? Is that real? And just to let people know, yeah, that jump was legit. It's real. It reflects real people being interested in this toy line. So that's what I wanted to say.
Following up on that,
Yep.
with an international brand like Hasbro, they insert numbers from across
That's right.
across the world, right? So
Yep.
it'll happen. You'll see these gigantic jumps.
Yeah.
But for something like small companies like Hatter Toys or Spero, it's these wonderful little partners
Yep.
who contribute to that injection.
Yep.
So yeah, it's always a great time when that happens, and it's a blessing. It really is.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
so let's go ahead and talk about some of the unlocks that did happen over
Do
this
it.
weekend.
Yeah.
I believe right here, Primal Series 2 was the alternate heads. Are we still aiming for that, or was that unlocked
That's
already?
unlocked. Yeah, I don't. You know what? Why don't we go through it and just scroll from the top, and I'll kind of talk through like what existed before and what we went down.
Sure,
So
let's go for it.
as we're going through this, just a reminder. So you stop right there. It says Wave 1, Reptiles and Brawlers. The Reptiles and the Brawlers is referencing two brand new bucks that didn't exist in the line: the Reptile Body, the buck, and the Brawler buck. So the figures that you're about to see, this one right here, and we'll go ahead and scroll a little bit. Oops, there you go. And those were available initially from the beginning for you to back, and they were done as like a 2-pack and all that, but that's all gone. Don't even need to talk too much about it, because now you can just order them individually, separately, etc., if you choose. As we scroll down, there was the accessory.
A question on that though.
Yeah.
A real question. So that was actually a critique by some,
Yeah, initially.
like why was that decision made? I wanted to ask Jason, but I guess was there anything behind that decision to actually put two in a pack instead of individuals? Like what
Yeah, I
what
think
was the
there,
decision?
There were a couple of things that I've heard them talk about, and I've heard him express on different streams and just in our conversations. First off, it's like, you really want to try to encourage people to get more than one figure where possible, and that made sense. So if we're gonna, sorry, I keep using the we to be clear. If they, as Spero, are gonna invest the money in the buck, they kind of want a little bit of assurance that people actually want the buck, right? To support the buck. So where they can, they're like, well, let's pack these two figures of the same buck so that we're getting money towards that buck. And that'll give us an indication of like, yeah, it makes sense to invest in this thing. That was the first piece. The other piece, like, it's really, so a little bit of context. If folks are familiar with the first Kickstarter, there was some issues with AWOC, who was doing it all themselves. Like when I say AWOC, it really was Jason and then a couple of other people with a fulfillment piece, right? So they hired two other folks, and they were doing it themselves. And then eventually Adam came in to help with the logistics because things were getting a little bit confusing. Orders were, people were either finding not the right figures were sent or more than one figure was sent. And then there was issues with the international orders where they'd ship them out, and then on the other side of the country, they'd be refused and sent back. So there was all these things because you've got a small company who, again, you heard the backstory earlier, had a dream, created this comic, never ever thought about like, oh, we're going to create action figures and then we're going to be a fulfillment company, right? And I'll handle all the shipping. So I'm hoping, you and Hatter, I'm sure you guys have thought about this, but for them, for Spero, having learned that from the first time around, they are now going with a separate third-party shipper, Fulfill Right, who's done this before. And so if you imagine every time you get a single order, what the difference of the labor of doing that versus a 2-pack of figures, and I think initially it was a 2-pack in the weapon set, right? So I think at first that was a part of the conversation, but then once they unlocked the entire thing, they sort of released all of that. So I get it. At first, people were really concerned. Like, I think there were even some people asking, like, wait, isn't Animal Warriors of the Kingdom an established thing? Why are they doing a Kickstarter again? And so I generally understand those sort of I genuinely understand those misconceptions and misperceptions, but it's still a tiny company. Like, literally, people have had these figures only since 2003. That's last year. That's the first year people have ever had any Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figures in hand. And during that time, they got 2 waves of figures, and they're all essentially the same buck. So fast forward, just because they've done that, the idea of releasing 4 new bucks is still risky. So anything you can do to maybe like pack things in together, I think that's initially it. Sorry, long-winded, but I think I think that hopefully,
I've heard that a lot. I've heard a lot of people commenting, not really criticizing, but commenting. Why are they doing another Kickstarter, guys? You like, honestly, what you think about toys? Again, this is coming just from me, right? And I'm only speaking for myself. Having experienced what it is, I mean, I'm going to say it right now, right? For one action figure, all right, for one action figure from the ground up, right? And I'm not even talking about 3D renderings. I'm just talking about the tooling alone. Okay, you're looking anywhere between $30,000 to $50,000, depending on the complexity, for one character, and that's just tooling. That's just the freaking solid block of metal that needs to be hollowed out in certain places to inject plastic into it, right? That's not even talking about cutting it out of there, cleaning it up, making it all shiny and new, putting the paint on, all that stuff, right? That happens afterwards. That's just literally like pushing in some plastic. That's it. Before you even push in the plastic, it's already $30,000 to $50,000. So think about that for a second. A company like Spero is only asking for $35 a figure. What the hell? That is an incredible amount of value.
Actually,
this guy right here,
it's less than that.
He's $49. Okay, he's $49, and
Flip
he has
board.
probably a lot less articulation than anything 6-inch. Okay, but the that doesn't change. Okay,
Right.
that
It doesn't mean
change
that
in the next one.
Jay and Hatter
Yeah.
are pocketing an extra $15 or whatever it is. That's not at all. It's going to
Not
be
the way it
more
works,
expensive.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the thing is that
Economies of scale.
if right now we've asked for a certain threshold, and we're able to actually, thankfully, for the community, it's huge thanks to the community,
Yeah,
everybody here,
yeah,
you're part of the Spiro community, you're part of the
yeah,
the AWOC community, right? If it wasn't for you guys, this wouldn't be happening right now,
yeah.
right? But the reality is that in order to get to the next stage, right, it's not like, it's not like Jason and Spiro and they've been going to every store, which they probably have, but it's not
Okay.
like every store has sold out of the line that they have. They probably, sold out of a ton of them, but they're still getting new orders in. They got to reprint them, right? There's a lot of money being thrown around, yes, but like half of that, if not more than half of that, is being like used up in the production aspect of it, right? Toys are expensive. That's just the truth of them all, right? So in order to actually get to the next stage, and think about what I just said, if a figure is anywhere just to get the mold done, $30,000 to $50,000 for tooling. Imagine now you're asking for 4 brand new tools. Do the math.
Yeah.
Like, do the freaking math, right? So do you
Yep.
do we really think that Jason is sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars? Like, one would think that on a
And
certain level, right?
you're
But it's
right.
not
Like
the way it works.
it's
That's not
4
the
new
way it works.
tools, but then there's also, just remember, there's head packs, there's weapons packs. There's a lot of new things that are being created in this. But yeah, I guess to continue on, there's the lizard, right? The lizard buck there. And we'll definitely get to Solo Sinner's question towards the end. I'll kind of do logistics stuff, but if you keep scrolling, that was all available. And then this was initially an unlocked thing, and it's unlocked now. Keep going. Oops, sorry. And then this was initially an unlocked figure. And so again, it's totally unlocked now. You can, just go in and choose it. So I want people to know that we have actually moved through. They no longer say unlockable, or that they were initially locked or whatever, but just know that we've unlocked a bunch of things more than is sort of indicated if this is the first time you're checking it out. Okay, we can keep going. So that's just the first buck. And then, and the heads, right? Again, alternate heads for this thing. Yeah, this is the thing that trips me up, Jay. So I'm in for an epic all in, but then I'm like, I'm going to get these heads. I'm going to need bodies for these heads. So, and then now I'm going to get multiple bodies, multiple figures to put these on. So just whatever. I'm a cautionary tale, folks. All right, moving on. And by the way, those mouths articulated. You'll probably notice some holes where tongues should be. That should be an indication of what's to come. There's more to be revealed. Then you've got this second buck. That's the brawler buck. And this was, again, one you could order from the beginning. Keep going. Between Hannibal, Kali Prime, that was all available. And then the weapons were there as well. And then we unlocked Grimes, the pirate. So the sidekick to Boone, big old bruiser dog. So we can keep going. This has all been unlocked. Oops, other side. So these alternate heads. So this was to, I think it was Tiffany's question earlier. When are we going to see the heads? You heard the answer there. Just know those will be replaced as soon as they can. Again, Jason will be on a couple different streams and probably be revealing stuff along the way as they get done. But literally, it's as they get done. So alternate heads for your Hannibal. You might be stupid like me and find like, hey, maybe I need to get another body. Okay, so I want to point out the wave 1, wave 2. So yes, there are multiple waves in this thing. So you'll notice there's a spring 2025 date here, and then there's a fall 2024 date. Because again, the idea is they're going to have the campaign, raise some money, be able to pay for all this, but stuff is already sort of is in movement and in production, so that those figures that you just saw, those $2, a lot of those have, like, truth be told, the brawler buck, a lot of that tooling's already been done, because if folks haven't noticed, there's been this sort of in-between wave of this character called the Void that was revealed in November at Legion's Con that has fully been in production. So All that to say is that, yes, when it says fall 2024, it does mean that those $2, anything that you ordered from that point up, will arrive earlier. And then in the spring, if you backed for more figures like the one you're seeing right now of Mother Mala, and if we keep going, and of the other women figs, the Rogue Buck, Lady Jadu, which was open from the beginning, and the weapons. Oh God, I love these weapons, man. That thing on the far right reminds me so much of my Ninja Turtles playmates back in the day, but plussed up. And then Jessa, who was unlocked just this past couple of days, a tribute figure to Jason's grandmother, again with that head that's there. Yeah, she's an army builder. Yeah, this was unlocked and available now. You'll notice it doesn't even indicate that at one time it was locked, again, just to give you a sense that progress has been made. So like right now, it's just pushing forward to get even more. So again, just to speak to that whole idea of the epic all in, like if you went epic all in and you were counting the dollar amounts, just know that Jess is in there. That's been thrown in. So over the last couple of days, the alternate heads for the female buck, the rogue buck, the rogues, characters, those were unlocked as well, and we are going to be waiting. And it says there, create more variety with these alternate angry and stoic facial expressive heads, because these are actually alternate heads that go with the existing characters as well. So just a heads up. And then we get into the fourth original buck that was a part of this thing. So we keep saying $4 plus, and there's a reason we say 4 plus, but these are the 4 originally that this campaign was offering, trying to target and back. And this is the Speedster buck, and you've got kanji. I hear Jason say kanji. So, Han, Han, Leia, Leah. So yeah, there's that. And this one was also sort of unlocked from the beginning. Again, a pirate, introducing the piracy to the world. This is where, Jay, you're asking about like the sword and sorcery and the sci-fi. People are like, wait, what's going on? Why does he have a robot arm? Why does he have a gun? Why does he have pants and a jacket? Because again, please go check out that comic book, because it's dope. Great stories, but the world is rich. Like, so yeah, you've got pirates with robot arms. So yeah, that's a thing. The weapons were there. Those are available from the beginning. Cool little accessories. Again, color. And then this has yet to be unlocked. So here's the point where we're going to push. These are the things that we're still sort of pushing towards. 220,000 to unlock a Speedster Buck Horde, or a member of the Horrid, specifically the Assassin.
I want to say a huge thank you to Solo Sinner,
yes.
who's given a $25 sticker to Brick Something. Small token of appreciation for all your efforts into supporting Spero. Good vibe and good community. Thank you so much, Solo Spinner.
100% Solo. That's awesome. Yeah, man, this is all a labor of love. Like, starting the whole YouTube thing, it's because I wanted to talk about like nerdy things, but then there were things that I just wanted to talk about that I felt like, hey, not enough people are talking about it. That's how Adam and I found each other as sort of kindred spirits and started doing the AWOC talk shows, and here we are. So thank you for that. That's dope. Okay, Horde Assassin. I didn't mention it, but these are like slightly smaller buck than your 1.0 figures, the Pale and the Atreyu and this guy that I was holding up earlier, and the one that Jay was holding up. So these are slightly smaller. Again, we're getting variety on the shelf within roughly 2 to 3 years, because some of these will be dropping in 2025. That's just amazing to me. We've already got the standard 1.0, or the standard buck. I'm using Mythic Legion's language. And then we got the Gorilla and Thane. Now we're getting all of this stuff. So that pretty much ends right there what the original offering was. And slowly things just started getting added to these things. And people are like, what? You got the alternate heads as well. Yep. For the kanji character and the others. This was available from the beginning. This was intended to be a true limited edition event, exclusive. And so this is Spectral Pale. It is reuse, mold reuse of the existing Pale figure. Everything that came with Pale, you will also get, but now in transparent blue plastic. And so that means you don't see the weapons here. You don't see the alternate hands here. That's okay. You're still getting them. They're just not pictured here. As you've heard from Jason, they've got plenty to do, and just getting someone on the design team to kind of comp up some images of everything. Yeah. But so this is a limited edition event exclusive. So that means that it's exclusive to the campaign and any cons that they will be attending. So it won't be available at Big Bad Toy Store or any other outlets. I know that was an issue that people raised from the first Kickstarter when Vero Atlas, who was supposed to be the Kickstarter exclusive, ended up at BBTS 2 because, you know, essentially they had more than they had backers for the initial Kickstarter, so they're not going to let that thing sit. And so, but don't worry if you're really concerned about that kind of exclusivity thing. This is truly exclusive to the Kickstarter and live events that they attend. Okay, so this is where, for me, it got exciting. I'll tell you right now that a lot of this concept art for all these different sized characters, like, it's out there. And as Jason pointed out, like, it's all been teased in the comic book. So we knew that this was in Jason's mind. We knew that Utama was working on designs. So a lot of these characters, like this one, this concept art for Raving has been floating around for a little bit. Slightly different from this one. It's been updated. So this is the current most updated version based on working with the sculptors to kind of figure out what they can actually do, etc. And so now it's just a matter of, like, that's kind of why they keep adding these things in, because Jason, just like everybody else, like, he's got these ideas and wants to get them in people's hands. If there's a way to get it to people sooner, if more people really want to back this thing and they get enough money to kind of do that, that's what they're going to do. So you'll see this character, and then this is where I want to get, that's really exciting. So that is a newer piece. This is brand new. That kind of snuck up on a lot of people. First, about 4 days ago now, this character was revealed. And so this wasn't here originally. And then there was a version, this is Meryl. It's a cardinal. The stuff that you see on the left, the accessories, that was not there when he was first revealed. Then I think the next day, just slowly it popped up, and we didn't sort of hear people talking about it. And, you know, that's my part of my role in helping out Spero is, like, how do we plan out these reveals a little bit more to try and get as much attention and so on, and you know, plan out a series of stream appearances and all that. So I just want to say I love this. Jason and Adam, and, you know, like, are huge fans of Disney's Robin Hood. Is that something that's in your? Yeah, you're nodding. Is that something that was on your radar too, Jay?
I was recognizing a lot, like whether it was Robin Hood or even Zootopia. You know what I mean? Like the Fox character,
Yep.
right? As soon as I saw him, I'm like, that's kind of Zootopian-ish.
Yeah.
Or
So
Robin
you
Hood.
got your Boone Fox, and then this is like the bard. That's more of
like a bard,
a
right?
rooster. Yeah, that was a rooster in there. So this is a cardinal, same colorways, actually very similar. And then this is actually a bard. I don't know anything more about the character and how he fits in the story. I have yeah. So
Jason,
anyway,
Jace is asking, is Raving the one that will have the Raiden style hat?
so that was originally in the concept art, and it's not in the current art. But I think there's, as the design, as you know, they work on sculpt and everything, they're trying to figure out what can work. Honestly, at this point, I'm forgetting where we're at with, if that's still going to be included or not. But just note that Jason has repeatedly said that, like, what you're seeing in these pictures is definitely less than what's going to be in the figures, because hands aren't here, some accessories aren't here. So it's possible, but we'll have to follow up with Jason, or, you know, follow him on different streams and just get that clarified. Because I'm sorry, I'm being a bad rep and forgetting, and I don't want to speak out of turn. So
Jay says he loves the loot that splits into a bow.
yeah,
so much fun.
Isn't that awesome? Like thank you for catching that. And that's exactly where I want to go, is like there's a lot of things that get sort of introduced in these things people don't notice, but that's a loot that will turn into a weapon. And that's awesome.
So good. So good. War Chest of the Toys will be backing this all the way.
That's great.
Todd C says, hope they'll bring back the dodo bird. I'm not sure. Like,
well, so there, as far as I know, there's no character, and I don't know if it's a joke, because the reality is, though, if you're following the lore, and I don't think it's too much of a spoiler, I'll just share that there's some DNA shenanigans in that I'll tease the lore because I want people to understand the world. There's a planet of creatures that look incredibly human with advanced technology flying on giant spaceships called arcs. And the spaceship's AI determines that, like, hey, these beings are sketchy. They just destroyed their last planet, which drove them to find new planets. And so the AI made a call, and it had all of because it's an arc, right? The idea is they're fleeing their planet and they have all the DNA, this is straight from the comic, of all the life that was on their past planet. And so science, the AI, I'll just say, did something, and then those beings, initial group of beings that went on this arc, were transformed into anthropomorphic animals. So I'm bringing that all up because Jason has shared, people ask, are we going to get dinosaurs? Are there other things? And Jason has said, well, the ark had the DNA of all life from the previous planet. And it's conceivable that they have life that, DNA of samples of maybe fossils of extinct creatures. So I don't know if Todd, see how serious you were, but just so you know, within canon of Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, that's wholly possible.
Dodo bird is
exactly.
extinct. I hope they'll bring back animals that are
Yes, exactly. So I was picking up on your vibe. I hope that helped. It's absolutely possible.
This is a fascinating look at again, not only the action figures themselves, but of course the lore behind it. And that's one thing about these figures. You can't really have introducing new figures without actually introducing some really good lore.
Yeah.
So it really is important. And 320,000, and we get a mystery figure. What is going on here? The necromancer, the scathing.
I may have seen what is behind that shadow, and I will tell you, folks, again, part of this is selfish. I want people to back this thing so that my epic all-in will include the figure scathing in it, because it's rad. And you can kind of see there's a little bit of asymmetry going on there. There's a full-on skirt. So, and I don't know if people caught, I don't know what exactly. So I've seen the design. It's still unclear what's soft goods and what's not, but Jason has said that they are working on soft goods, like Raving will have soft goods. So he's also named oh my gosh, I'm blanking on dude's name, but it's an incredibly talented soft good maker that Jason's like, man, I want to make quality stuff. I like this person, I'm going to work with them. And I love that. That's the thing about Jason, man. He's like, he doesn't want to cut any corners. Just like he wants to, he has a vision in his mind and it has to be quality. So anyway, Scathing is looking rad. Let's unleash him, unlock him. Notice the title, The Necromancer.
The Necromancer, yeah. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah,
very exciting.
That's some cool stuff, folks. I'll just say that. Raise the dead. It's a vulture too, right?
And then at 330, we're looking at the Avian weapon set, which is going to be exciting.
And it's not, again, brand new weapons, folks. Not like, similar to the other ones. If you've gone back and looked at these weapons, each set is so different.
And then at 340,000, we're looking at Avian alternate heads, which is always exciting.
Yep. All right.
And then, wow, this is crazy. 380,000, we get some caribou.
Yeah. That's our Calibao, dude. That's our Calibao.
We get some water buffalo. We got the Brutox, the
Brutox, baby. The giant Those horns are gonna be amazing. Yeah, and again, this is using the brawler buck, so it's gonna be the same as Hannibal, the lion, and Kali Prime. Same size.
He looks really, really cool. And of course, love the fact that we're getting some Filipino callbacks, and that's
Yeah, I'm gonna
not a
force it in.
And then at 410,000, we get freaking elephants, man. Oh my
Mamba,
gosh!
baby.
Look at General Mamba.
Yeah.
No sleep till Mamba, everybody. There we go.
Yep. I'm here
That's-
with you. I just want to point out that Mamba measures roughly the same height-wise as a Mythic Legion's ogre scale creature. But if you can tell from that design, he's wide too. So here is an AWOC figure.
Wow.
So to give you a sense, like brawlers are about here. We've got the women about here. We've got the speeds. Like it's a whole ecosystem of cool looking creatures on your shelf. My question to the team will always be, man, I love the way these things move. I was playing with them earlier on, trying to show it off and show what it's like. My hope is that we'll get very similar levels of articulation. He said, yep, that's the goal. Definitely on the speedster, definitely on the women. We're working on that for Mamba. And you know what's funny? If we go back, again, there are things in there. Let's see. I'm scrolling to it. I'm like, yeah. See, there's things that aren't there that do exist. And so let me see what I've got. But yeah, man, there's just so many great ideas that are floating in the team's brains and Jason's brains and brain. So, oh man. Well, I will say,
GameQuest says, please tell me there's a skull involved with scathing.
I can't tell you anything.
War Chest Full of Toys says, scathing looks like owl's feet. And Jace goes on to say, ooh, cool idea. Bird skull as Khonshu from Moon Knight. That's an interesting
Khonshu, I love it. Yeah, that's great. What's the best way for me to get you an image?
Oh, share screen.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's true. Okay, well, let's keep talking. I gotta get it from this computer to that computer and do all the things.
Well, use the same link and join as a. Actually, that'll be about. That wouldn't be so bad, actually. But
it's cool.
Yeah,
I got it over here.
You got it? Okay, cool.
I do AWOC scale.
War Chest Full of Toys says, if it's a vulture, I'm stoked. They look like Skeksis from the Dark Crystals. Yes, Skeksis. That would be really
exactly what I was imagining. Because I'm a big Dark Crystal fan.
Jace, all my AWOC are on my desk because they're so much fun just to pick up and mess with randomly throughout the day. Absolutely. And here we go. Wow. Holy crap. Those are massive. Oh my God.
So this is to give people a sense of scale. We have seen Pale, if you're familiar with the line, and have it, like, this is a thing. This is like the figures that Jay and I were holding up, same size as this, the main character, Pale. And so this is Pale's father, who we also have, and that's General Thane. Oops, sorry about I'm trying to get people seasick. So you can see where we're filling in, like I said, it's a whole ecosystem, a whole zoo, if you will, on your shelf. And you'll probably notice, wait a second, there's something on here that wasn't in that Kickstarter that we just scrolled through, and that's that Rhino. And so there is there's more in the chambers potentially to be unlocked. It's just they are slowly teasing things over time. I think at a certain point, they should probably just like call it. But I'll just tell you, this stuff has been out there. Like this was, yeah. So that's been my thing again, to go back to what am I doing? Why am I helping out with this stuff? And it's because I know there's a lot of amazing things that sort of get lost in the mix, like images, ideas, things that Jason has said, things that, And so concept art that's been floating out there, things like this image that's been on our AWOC Talk Monkey Business stream a couple weeks ago, but not necessarily like just out there enough. And I just want to say that rhino is in play, and there is also a hippo in play that I am trying to find an image of as we talk. But
Are you
all
allowed to
to
show
say,
this?
yep, 100%. No, we've already. Well, that's my point, Jay. We've shared this, and it's been shared. Like, and so like the hippo is not something that has, like, the images are out there. They've been shared, but that's a challenge, right? We're kind of all over the place. You've got an audience here. The Toy Daddy's got like everyone's got different audiences. Toy collectors have different tastes, and so some people get some information, others don't. And so that's what this is about. It's like there are lots of stuff that's out there, but not everyone has seen it, has been following it, and that's what I both selfishly, like, I want to make sure people know, because this is why I'm excited. This is why I want an Epic All In. And so maybe just to go back to that, $650, and I know that sounds crazy. Like, to me, that's not like I don't just go, yeah, I'm going to spend $650 today. And it's another $40 for shipping. And that's including the multiple shipments, because some of this is coming in the fall, some of this is coming in spring. And then the later things that get released that aren't in wave 1 and wave 2, like Mamba, like Raving, like that gets pushed down, right? So probably summer and then maybe a fall, right? And those are just as an example. Those aren't all necessarily coming in the spring, but they obviously want to get them out as soon as they can. My point is, you're paying $40 locked in for shipping. So a $650 for me in California, at least, it probably depends on where you're at, because it asks you. That's $650 for the figures, and then $40 for the shipping. And I think it's stated there that ultimately, with all the accessories that could potentially be unlocked and the figures that could potentially be unlocked, that's a $991 value. And I suspect that that's not fully including everything, given what that keeps happening. He's like, oh, let's throw this in here. Let's do this. So that's the only reason why, like, people are like, what are you doing spending that? Like, one, I love it. Two, please, like, know that I want all of these figures. So I just want to throw that out there, and I'm not finding the hippo fast enough. Sorry, but I will track that down, and there'll be other opportunities. So
no matter what, this is an incredible campaign, and you guys have done so well. TF Fanpage 101, Brian, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Guys, if you're a Transformers fan, TF Fanpage is the place to go. He just did an amazing overview on figures. Red Effects, my daughter loves the elephant character so much, we got to make this happen. Yes, we got to make this happen, everybody. Thanos Copter would double my pledge if I could afford it. I think Thanos already went into the Epic All In, didn't he? Is that what he mentioned earlier? So
yeah, he said that, and he said if I could, I'd double it. Really, just like
huge thanks,
because that's how good these toys are.
The Collecting Brothers, Epic All In, Epic All In, Epic All In. Thank you, Collecting Brothers. There are a lot of guys out there who are really doing this. I mean, 80 backers for the Epic All In. That's huge. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for that. I mean, that alone, you're looking at almost 20,000. Actually, maybe even more than that. Jeez Louise, that's a lot of money right there, guys. That's a hell of a lot of money.
And I gotta say, like what I said with that deal, like $650, but $991 in value, like that's where the economies of scale like work out for it. And I appreciate that someone like Spero is gonna like offer that deal to anyone who comes in early. Like that's amazing.
It is.
That's way more value than any other Kickstarters that I've been involved in. And unfortunately, I've been involved, meaning backed. So unfortunately or fortunately, I've backed quite a few. So there you go. And thank you. Fulfill Right. I will just say again, I want to assure people that were frustrated by how things went the first time, because I know that's out there, and maybe even just bust some myths, because I know there's a lot of like continued chatter and like, oh yeah, don't back this. They're going to have a hard time getting your figures. Like, no, they are paying for people who do this for other toy lines and have done this successfully, Fulfill Right, to handle all of it. And what's great, because Fulfill Right's been doing this, been in the business doing this, they know how to handle the international orders. Like, as you can see there, it says the notes. I don't know if you want to throw that up there, because I know you're currently got an axe to grind with Mattel and international shipping and ordering.
In that,
But
in a little bit, if you will, just a bit.
yeah, I don't mean to mischaracterize, but yeah, it's all going to be. It says right there. They want people to know that they're doing this whole thing, and then what is it? You can explain it better than I can, because honestly, my experience with VAT tax is non-existent.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is a very again taking it over the border, just logistically wise is a nightmare. And don't believe it. Don't believe what you hear. Free trade is for massive companies. Okay, that's not a thing for small companies. That doesn't make any
No.
sense. So yeah, the VAT taxes and everything like that. That has to be handled after the fact. Anyone in North America, it seems, will be okay with Fulfill Right, but everyone outside of that will definitely be subject to VAT taxes. So we will obviously. This is another thing, but at least right? At least there is an assurance
Yep.
that any experiences you had in the past where certain things got mixed up, or orders weren't fulfilled properly, that should not happen in this case. And if it is, Fulfill Right will do right by the fans and make sure that everything gets
Absolutely.
gets
You
done.
you will not have the same experience as you did with that first 2 waves of Kickstarter, from the Kickstarter. And then I didn't want to gloss over it, but just note that it says that Kickstarter will not collect the VAT taxes, but it will be collected in BackerKit, which is the system that kicks in after. And this, so in other words, they will collect your taxes and will be shipped duties prepaid, which was a big deal. You don't want to receive these things and be told you have to pay more taxes in order to get these things in your hands. So yeah, there's that. And don't listen to Thanos. No need to bug Adam. He's free now that Fulfill Right is there. He's handling bigger and better logistics questions with Spero, and I'm excited that he's doing it, because it's a smart man and knows his stuff. So
Excellent, guys. April 16th is the end of the campaign. Currently sitting at 205,435. Plenty of time to reach $415,000. So yeah, a lot of time to actually get all the figures and all your dreams to come true. And this is only on 564 backers. Huge thank you to everybody who's made this happen. You guys are epic. This is crazy. Lots of different choices to go, and especially for the epic all-in. If you guys are ballers, that is just crazy. But once again, with an epic all-in, the kind of savings that you're getting for that are just absolutely incredible. 80 backers know this, and you guys can definitely get in on this as well. If you think about it, you're talking about what's it called? $35 a figure in retail.
Yeah.
But if you look at the details here, I mean, what's actually included in the epic all-in is just absolutely epic. I mean, this is ridiculous. 13 items included: Reptile Warriors, Corvius, Greech, weapon sets, Brawler Warriors, King Hannibal, Kali Prime, weapon sets, Bone Crusher, Female Warriors, Mala, Jadu, weapon sets, Rogues, Speedster Warrior, Kanji, Speedster Warrior, Boone, weapon sets, Assassins, event exclusives, Spectral Pale, and then, I mean, that in and itself is a huge value for only $650. This is just incredible, and again, massive discounts and shipping included on top of that. I believe is the case, if I'm not mistaken, or is that in North America anyway? So yeah, guys, like lots of opportunities to get in on this. Lots of other packs that you can support. Single figures now instead of just double figures. So
yeah, and just since we're talking to the epic all-in real quick, sorry Jay, but that's all included. And then as things get unlocked, that gets in there as well. And then Jason has said elsewhere that, like, hey, if for some reason you don't want all those unlocks and you want multiples of other things, once the campaign closes, you can then configure and sort of like pick your poison, and really like you'll have essentially the equivalent of everything that was unlocked in terms of dollar value and figure value. And then you can mix and match and pick and choose like really what you want. So I think that's amazing. If you're just like, I don't like this figure, I don't like that figure. And I'll say one more thing about what Jason has said in the past, because this is in the spirit of Flip War. He said, listen, if you want to do the epic all in, and there's for whatever reason you get the figures, you're going to get them earlier than other people. You're going to be getting a great deal. If you choose to sell some of those, hopefully at market value, right? Meaning at street price, because they wouldn't have been released, you'll still be making money. Like if you sell them at 35 for 30 at the retail price. So I love that Jason said that. And I'm saying that mainly because, yeah, in the spirit of Flip War.
You know what? Flip War would be proud, my friend. Flip War would be proud. Jace, question I forgot to ask. Will Greach
Yes.
have a long tongue included? I think it was mentioned that weapon chain will fit, but hopefully for a regular long tongue.
So we're still pushing for that. Jason has heard that there has been no commitment, but yeah, we'll just say that like he has said, he's heard it. He's thinking about it. I'll just say that. So yeah, what they're talking about is like, we get a chain tongue, but can we get like an actual chameleon tongue? And so if this is telling at all, if you go back and just not right now, but for folks, go back and look at the sculpt of the alternative lizard packs. There are other lizard types, and one's a snake that clearly has a hole. I suspect that he wouldn't have the same chain tongue. That would be just weird. So I'd say, and I'll just leave it at that, ... until things get fully revealed. There was the nudge question. Go for it.
Let's see here. Solo Sinner says, just a nudge.
Yes.
If one, you pledge a single figure, where do you select what you want? And two, what's a backer kit?
So, okay, number one with Kickstarters, first off, you have to back something that is currently available. And so if you pledge a single figure, for example, when the campaign closes, then it'll enter into the backer kit. Backer kit is sort of like this, okay, great, everything's done. It creates a space where this is where people now specifically can say, well, what do I finally want in my thing? Because I don't know if people realize this, but when you back a Kickstarter, right, once it closes, you actually have to confirm like which rewards that you want. And every Kickstarter is structured differently, so it's easy to get confused. Backer kit is essentially where you'll be making those choices, so that everything will be available. They'll let you know based on the ones that you have selected, which are sort of the equivalent in dollar amount or value. But in backer kit, you can also continue to add on. So that's also a space where you can say, okay, I initially said I was going to back for one figure, but you can say, well, I want to add this and add another figure and add another figure. So that all gets configured at the close. And then once you commit to it, that's when your actual dollar amount will be taken out. So there's still that room. And then some Kickstarters will keep that open for even people who didn't necessarily back the campaign during the time that the campaign was running, so that people can still order and still pre-order. So that's essentially what that is. It's like a whole like back end deal. It's still associated with Kickstarter, but it's a whole other functionality where you get to add these items and finally check out.
Excellent. And so thank you for that. Ray Paz says, Adam said the other stream that Rhino unlocks at 440K.
Yeah, that's why I had the 490K in my number. I kept saying 490 to Mamba, but like it's actually 410 for Mamba. And then those other things that have been teased, the hippo, the elephant, those are beyond the 410. So no sleep till Mamba. That's again, like that's the thing. I know you all too, right? With your initial offering, it was like, okay, here's a figure.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more.
There's
Capture,
more.
like capture.
We kept unlocking and unlocking and unlocking,
and so some of that is planned. Some of that was planned ahead of time. But sometimes that's not. So like if folks weren't around for the initial Kickstarter, that was another one that backed quickly for their initial goal, and then they kept going. So a lot of what they had planned for that initial one, like they had everything planned, including all the tiers, and then all of a sudden it was going past that. So they're like, oh my God, we got to keep offering things. And hence like the Primal Ancients and the sort of like more simple bodies and then additional heads packs just kept getting added on because they had no way to anticipate how well the campaign would do. Sound familiar, Jay?
Terrence is in the house. What's going on, Terrence? Good to see you, brother. March for Mamba. That's right. March for Mamba. Solo Sinner. Cool. Thanks for the info. Terrence is an epic all-in. Thank you, Terrence. Oh my God, you are a baller, brother. You are a freaking baller. Ray Paz, so down for more. Sorry, watching both streams. Love this line. Of course. Watching the wrong. No, you weren't, brother. You weren't. Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure having Break Something in the house to help us talk about AWOC. I want to thank Jason from Spero Toys for being here and talking about the lore, talking about everything that's come around, and how well we're doing is just absolutely mind-boggling. Raincast, by the way, I plan to do this later, but just want epic all-in now. No need to wait. Thank you so much, Game Quest. You are epic.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You are just insane. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. Everybody who's back this. Once again, guys, this has been an incredible sit-down talk with Spero Toys and Brick Something. They are now sitting at 205,780. Thanks to everybody who's backed this. It literally is jumping as we speak.
Yep.
So you guys are awesome. 20 days
Thank
to go.
you.
Ends on April 16th. And you guys continue to back this project. We want to get into Mamba. Everyone, hashtag no sleep till Mamba. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Again, that epic all-in just keeps getting everybody interested. Jace, great stuff. Can't get enough of the AWOC universe. Terrence St. John, get behind AWOC. Thank you, guys. This has been an incredible evening. Brick, let me know what your thoughts are on the line. Any last thoughts on what we can do to help push this campaign, and how can people help to spread awareness and get everybody informed as to how this, and how can people get in touch in case they have any other questions.
Yeah, for sure. So first off, just being here is great because you guys are getting this information. The thing I'll ask is like, let people know, let folks know on social media, let them know about the campaign, like explain maybe some of the details to people who don't understand or are confused. I'm sure you're just like me. I get field questions all the time. People are like, hey, what's this about? What's it like to back a Kickstarter? Can I trust this company? All of those kinds of things. Like, just let them know, spread it out there. You send people to different streams, send them to this one, go send them to, we did an episode of Monkey Business, which is our sort of AWOC live stream over on the Highly Articulated channels, me, Adam, and Jason. And our intention with that was to try and collect as much of the current info as possible to serve a little bit as an FAQ. So you want to check that out. But here's the really good news. So I've been helping to do this whole gather the tribe thing where we're trying to like organize the outreach efforts and the streaming efforts. So tonight was a part of that here. And then right now over on the Toy Daddies, that's continuing Wednesday. It was not initially planned to be a 2-stream thing, and things happen. But we're just trying to reach as many different outlets as we can to let people know. So if you want to help, check that out. Check out my community tab on the YouTube channel at YouTube. I think it's like / whatever, brick something, or bricksomething.com will actually take you right to the channel. Check out the community tab. There's a post in there with all the dates for just this week. So right now over in the Toy Daddies, that's going to finish up tomorrow on Toying Around with Kevin. It'll likely be, it's definitely Jason and some combination of me and Adam, or maybe even both of us tomorrow night. Then Friday, it's going to be over at Collector Express. And then Saturday, it's going to be over at Dork Lair. And then Sunday on some channel called Brick Something, Jason's going to be there. And we're going to talk about all sorts of nerdy stuff, as well as, of course, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. So, yeah, and that's just this week. There's more to come next week. If you've got people that you want to see Jason and Spero talking about this stuff on, tell them. We're doing our best to outreach to people and asking like, hey, would you consider doing a stream about this? But if you, as someone who watches a stream regularly, you want to be that person to be like, hey man, I love your stuff. Would love to see you talk about AWOC or talk to the AWOC folks. Please do. Please hit them up, and then we'll get rocking and rolling, because we've got till April 16th. And so let's maximize the time. And I will just say one thing, that yes, it's about the Kickstarter, but all of this stuff ultimately is about spreading the brand awareness, period. As Jason sort of mentioned earlier, that's the biggest challenge. So yes, there's a Kickstarter, but even if like we don't necessarily reach people who are like, oh, I'm all about it, I'm going to back this thing, the more we can just let people know like, hey, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom is an awesome toy line. They're doing all sorts of things. In 2, maybe 3 years, they're going to have potentially like 6+ different body types and bucks available to people. So just all of this stuff is really just good to push this brand out there, because I will say this: I would love to see a Netflix Animal Warriors of the Kingdom animated show someday. And this is all going to move us towards that goal. So that's my thing. I'll put that out in the universe. And full screen.
A little bit of foreshadowing there, a little teases, and
I'm putting that out in the
universe.
universe.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about dreams. We're talking about hopes and everything.
Yep.
Might as well shoot for the moon, right? Right.
Yes.
That should be it.
We need some new stuff.
So one more time, guys, 205,780. The moon that we're shooting for is 480,000. I think 490,000. So, guys, 20 days, plenty of time. And by the jumping that's been happening, jump, everybody. Let's just keep this campaign jumping and moving, and let's see how far we can take this. Because, as Terrence is saying, love the shirts, guys. We're wearing a Toylanta. Where can I buy one? That is a good question.
Not available yet, but that is definitely something that they are working on.
Yeah,
they were wearing different shirts every day, and there's a really cool one that's an alternate cover for issue number 2 that's reminiscent of the Hewlett, Jamie Hewlett Gorillas. I don't know if folks are music fans, but so yeah, those will come.
AWOC says, Terrence goes on to say, AWOC is a great product made by great people. Love Jason, Derek, Adam, Kento, and Brick. Thank you so much, Terrence.
Kato, Inutabi. Yep, dope.
War chest full of toys. I'm down if y'all want to just get AWOC underoos. And on that note, I think we will wrap up. Guys, definitely head over to Kickstarter. Check out Animal Wars of the Kingdom Primal Series 2. Let's get these guys over 490,000. Let's go to 500,000. Screw it. Let's do $500,000, guys. Let's make this happen.
Put that money towards that Netflix show.
Huge thanks to my good friend Brick Something. Huge thanks to Jason, who was here for an ever brief time, but we do appreciate it whenever he can give us a little bit of his time. The man is a freaking genius. Brick, any last comments before we log off? Maybe plug yourself and your channel, please.
First off, I'll just say thank you, Jay, and I love you. That's one of my final comments. And then as far as come to Brick Something. Go to bricksomething.com and you can check out the channel. Every Sunday, I do this thing called The News, which stands for Needless Ephemera We Saw, which is a fancy way of saying I just talk with a co-host guest every week about nerdy things. In fact, Mega J and I hung out, and I successfully got him to have the holy moment when I shared some stuff with him. So worth a watch. Go check those out. I'm working on a series of Masterverse videos with Cobb Webb. So stuff to come hang out, and go check out the Instagram too. Follow me over there. It's at brick.something.
Always good to have Brick in the house. And of course, if you guys are interested, definitely check out check out his show. Wonderful talk on toy news. Always the indie scene is huge
Yeah,
with
it's
Brick.
kind of my thing.
So it is
Yeah.
his thing. Definitely check it out if you guys are interested in independent toys. Last comments before we log off. War Chest full of toys. Just looking for those underoos, renders, effects. Jay and Breck have some awesome energy together, an epic team up. Thank you so much, Renders. Guys, definitely one more time, check out Renders Effects on Instagram. He's a wonderful sculptor. You guys will not regret
Yeah, he
working
is.
with him. Frankie Rivera, awesome stream. Jay, long live AWOC, my friend. And of course, hats off to Brick. Terrence St. John, well worth and deserving your support. Thank you so much, Terrence. All in. What a baller. Thanos Copter, another all in baller. Go check it out. You will not be disappointed. And of course, that is the absolute truth. Guys, thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure. Check out AWOC. Definitely give them all the support you can. And as a shameless plug, really quickly, just because we can, definitely don't forget that Flipboard, we are in our last week of pledging. We're up to $180,673 on 1,239 backers. 4 days to go. This is the crunch time, guys. As with AWOC, we're trying to hit 200,000 to actually unlock our last stretch goal, which is amazing. At only $49, you're going to get one heck of a pack out. I mean, you're going to get a lot of great accessories if you back Flipboard, a beat up head, talk to the hands, the cube of NFT, which is going to be worth billions. Trust us, we know what we're talking about. Grippable hands to hold on to the 4, and I count them, 4 minifigures on backing cards. It's going to be great. Regular Flipboard, Stealth Flipboard, Gold Flipboard, and Glow in the Dark Flipboard. You're going to get the perfect plastic Fantastic Turtles box. You're going to get Bash of the Galactic Rodents of Mayhem box, and you are going to get the Piss Tank box. Even more if we actually get to 200,000. Guys, this is on top of what you will already be getting with Flipboard. I mean, look at this. This is just crazy. For $49, imagine getting an action figure which comes with Flipboard, comes with 2 money sacks, comes with a stopwatch, the scepter of FOMO, a soft goods cape for the cloak of Tarjay, the flipper itself, along with a swappable hand, an actual mini character in Katcha, and then on top of that, that was the original $49 price, and then if we hit our $200,000 goal, we actually get all this crap. Seriously, guys, where in the world are you going to get an action figure with only $49 for this price? I mean, don't get me wrong, AWOC is amazing, but come on, for $49, let's be honest, this is value you just cannot beat.
Hell yeah.
Let's be freaking particularly honest.
Flip life.
Right, live that flip life, guys. Just live it up. Again, shameless plug over. Thank you guys so much. Definitely check out Flipboard. Check out Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. You guys are the freaking best. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Frankie Rivera is living it. That's right. Flip or flip life. That's right, everybody. Thank you so much for that. Game Quest. Brick would be a great addition to the Spero team, even as a consultant basis, if not compatible with his current career. Thank you, my friend. Brick is just doing it, living the life. And definitely check out Brick Something on YouTube, guys. Give him a like and a follow. Tell him that Jay said you. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hope you're all doing well, staying safe. And as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Head over there, back the Animal Wars of the Kingdom, and of course, check out Flipboard. Live that flip life, guys. Good journey. And I hit